Hey guys, Laggimus Prime here again, and here's another profile for you. So I've made my own Numemon deck. I mean, it's about time because I've had this mat for a very long time, and I should have had a Numemon deck made whenever it became more relevant, but now that it's pretty much a top meta deck, unfortunately I don't really like making meta decks, but it is Numemon. I mean, I've had the mat for so long, my profile picture. It's about time that I've actually have one. So I've gone ahead and made my own version. It definitely takes inspiration from the regional winning one and a few other things, but I've made my own little adjustments to it to suit my style. This one is probably my more competitive deck. Very fast, very strong. I have videos of it. It's quite powerful. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, with our eggs, we run 4 of the Numemon from EX4. When one of your other Digimon digivolves, draw 1. The best thing in this deck, because you're going to be doing a lot of digivolving, and you're going to be doing it for free. On to the rookies. Well, obviously, it is Numemon, and one of the best cards in it, and probably in this format right now. 4 Ukomons. This is the best card for the deck because it doesn't really have very many other level 3s that it can run that can work very well, but having just these Ukomons in it boosts it up high. When one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, you may hatch in the breeding area and then you gain a memory. Best card in this deck right now because you gain so much advantage from it. But you will be running a lot of level 3s in this deck. Not as many as some other ones, but still. So for a 2 of level 3, I'm running 2 of the Chikurimons. These are the security D-Digivolve ones. You can easily put these as the other Chikurimons that prevent them from reducing play costs. I believe that's what that one does. And it's probably a bit better than this one, but this one can still help out in the long run because if it is in security and they hit into it, then it'll D-Digivolve and it might get you another turn. So yeah, security at the end of battle, you trigger D-Digivolve 1. That's about it. But it is a level 3 that you can play with some of your effects. But on to more of the 3 of. So we have 3 of Chumon. Really good card in the deck. It's your memory floodgate. Your opponent can't gain memory except with tamer effects. Helps out a lot because a lot of Digimon they get a lot of memory for your opponent nowadays. On to our next 3 ofs. This is our last of our level 3s, at least for me anyway. I run only 3 Dorumon. In security, at the end of battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a black Digimon with the play cost of 4 or less, you can play it without paying the cost, and then add the remaining cards to your hand, and then add this card to your hand. You run a lot of 3 cost or 4 cost or lower cards in this deck, so running this in here is definitely very good, although more than half the time when I do see this in security, it either doesn't work or I just don't see it in security. I sometimes hate running the security rookies, but this can benefit you very well from time to time. Anyway, so on to some of the 4 ofs here. So we move on to our level 4s. We run the RB1 Numemon. Gotta run 4 of these. This is like one of the better Numemons to have. So you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Numemon in its name, and 1 card with Numemon in its name. Then place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. It's an on-deletion effect. I wish it was an on-play effect, but it makes sense. But opponent's turn. When its Digimon has Numemon or Numemon in its name, it gains blocker. So this is a way to prevent your opponent from just swinging at you when you go into a Numemon. Or just kind of make your opponent halt for just a little bit longer. And then I run 3 Garymon. The name of this card is also treated as Numemon, so it is able to work with a lot of effects. But on play, by trashing 1 card with Numemon, Sukamon, Nanimon, or Edamon in its name from your hand, you draw 2. Always wanted to find a use for this card back in BT11. Worked really well in Sukamon decks, but it's not really using it very much anymore because Sukamon has gotten so much weird support that you don't really see it in there anymore, but it could help out in that deck actually, but probably wouldn't be too bad. but most of their stuff is black and yellow or like just straight yellow cards. So it's in a bit of a weird spot now. Anyway, on to the next one. So this might confuse some people. It might make you wonder, why do you only run so few of these? So you need more Numemons in the deck. Well, yes, granted, you do need more Numemons, but I only run 2 of these because I don't really like the hard playing of this and then getting the effect. I mean, like, it's good. It definitely helps out, but there are some times where I just don't have enough memory to make this work. And having both of these cards in the same time in your hand sometimes isn't always there. Unless you run more of them, but then you don't want too many of them. So it's the Numemon from BT15. It's the on-player when Digivolving by placing one Satsuke from your hand as his Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. One of your Digimon gains Rush. It's a great card for the deck. Don't get me wrong. Really good because you gain Rush just from playing this, so you can rush for game or anything like that, and it can also give something blocker. It's real good. I'm not saying it's bad in any way, but I just don't want to run too many of these because it doesn't give me the effects that I want it to. Not like the searching or the drawing. So that's the reason why. But we do run 4 copies of the new boy that makes, well, this really does make the deck very consistent or very cycle-wise or something like that, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, yes. 4 of Numemon X Antibody, the main, well, let's say the main boy, but one of the level 5s is definitely just as good as this card. So, Numemon X Antibody, while it has Numemon or X Antibody in those Digivolution cards, it gains on deletion. You may play one Digimon card with Numemon in its name from your trash without paying the cost. So, this could play your level 6 Platinum Numemon. It could also play itself. It could also play this one, this one, this one. It's fantastic, and the Inheritable is the same way. Now, the Inheritable is kind of good though. It's really good though, because if you don't have a Numemon underneath it, then just Digivolve this into a Monzemon or whatever, because you'll be able to play anything. It doesn't need the requirements anymore to have Numemon or X Antibody. You just need to have this in sources. So I like to sometimes, if something gets deleted, I'll just play this and then Digivolve on top of it with a Monzemon and be like, all right, now I got minus 3k to your guy and security -1, and he also has the on deletion effect. So that's the reason why I don't run as many Numemons as I probably should, because I like to like recycle this guy a lot. But yeah, speaking of that, now some of the super rare cards that exploded in price when Numemon just started getting better. We go into our level 5s here. The first one is the Monzemon from RB1. I lucked out whenever, before Numemon became super popular, and I got these at like when they were like $5 or like $2. Like, they were barely anything. But then Numemon came out, or Numemon just started exploding, and they went up to like, what, $15 a card? So I was able to get these really cheap before that happened. But on play, you can place one Digimon with Numemon in its name from your trash. This is Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, and you gain 2 memory. Great way to just play this for 7 and then gain 2 memory back and make it a 5 play. Or some of your effects, play it from hand and you gain the memory. It's a really good card, honestly, for this deck. But yeah, here it is. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gains minus 3k DP and security attack -1. Until the end of your turn. This has helped me out a lot, especially when I went against Mega Gargo with it, because Mega Gargo can swing like twice and then unsuspend. Well, it's like, hey, you got security -1, you can't do anything there. So, but when this Digimon has Monzemon or Numemon in its name, it gains security attack +1 for its Inheritable, which is really great, because if you go into Monzemon X Antibody, which is what you're about to see, yeah, you just do 2 checks. You do 2 checks for just for having a name. But anyway, yeah, speaking of Monzemon X Antibody, you have to run 4 of these in the deck. You just have to. It is like the best card. So, Monzemon X Antibody, when Digivolving, if it has Monzemon in its name or X Antibody in its traits, you play a Numemon. So, I may have misplayed, because you can't play Numemon X Antibody with this. I have misplayed before and accidentally played it. But usually more than half the time, because the other part of this is you can play a Numemon or a level 3 Digimon. So you can't play Numemon X Antibody because it has to have Numemon X Antibody, just straight Numemon. It has to have straight Numemon, not in its name effect. So it has to be one of these or a level 3. More than half the time, you're going to have one of these in your hand because of all the drawing that you do and all the cycling that you do. But all turns, once per turn, when one of your other Digimon is played, so it doesn't have to be by effect, it could be straight hard play. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP for each of your Digimon until the end of their turn. And with how wide you can go with this board, this can get up to like 20k or like maybe an exaggeration, maybe 12 to 15k. Especially if you do it multiple times, then it can get up to 20k. But it's quite strong. It is really quite strong. But then for 2 of our level 5s here, we do run 2 Warumanzemons. Just for the name, but this does help out quite a lot. That has helped me in the past, especially against Mega Gargo, because, just Digivolve your level 6 there and give me 4 memory back. So on player, when Digivolving, by trashing one card with Numemon in its name from your hand or this card's sources, you Digivolve 1. And on play, by placing one card with Numemon in its name from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. Until the end of your opponent's turn, none of their Digimon with play cost or 5 or less can attack players. So this is a good way to just say, hey, stop what you're doing for a little while, because I need a little bit of time to set up, pretty much. It also has the inheritable, if it has Monzemon or Numemon in its name, gain security attack +1. Very simple, very easy. Now, for one card that I don't see many decks running, I don't quite understand why I don't see many decks running. Probably because they run more of the rush thing, and maybe because this doesn't have the whole Numemon or Monzemon name, but I don't ever see people running Chimeramon. I only run one of it, because you don't want to see too many of these in your hand. But I don't understand why not many people are running this card, because you have tons of level 4s that recycle itself a lot, or are really cheap play cost cards. So Chimeramon can actually help out a lot in getting you game. Like if you don't have the rush effect, you don't have enough memory to gain the rush effect, but you have a couple of level 4s, then just DNA Digivolve into Chimeramon and swing for game. I did it against the Devil Leopard deck. That's why I don't understand why I don't see many people at least running one of this card, because you have the level 4s. I mean, maybe you might not really need Chimeramon all that much, but it can help. Plus, it also DP reduces as well. I'm just saying. But this is one way to just swing for game in case you don't have enough to swing for game and you just have a bunch of level 4s. You're just like, well, Chimeramon for game. But to each their own. Anyway, so this is where I might stray a little far from what people run, because I want this to be more of a pure Numemon deck. Well, sort of pure. Yeah, I wouldn't say pure, sorry, because there's not really much pure going on here with Chimeramon and these things. But still, we run 4 Platinum Numemons because I really like this, and I like the ability to just kind of keep going in case this dies. That's the reason why I really like this one, because on player when Digivolving, you trash one card in your hand that has Numemon in its name, and you gain 2 memory. So this Digivolve from 3 is just a 1. But on deletion, you can play a level 5 or lower card with Numemon or Monzemon in its name from your hand without paying the cost, which is why I usually love to hold on to this Monzemon until I get Platinum Numemon, or at least I like to have 2 of them in hand. I don't like to Digivolve into my level 4s unless I have to. I usually like to build a stack, go into Platinum Numemon, swing with Platinum Numemon, let it die, get the 2 checks, play the Monzemon for free, get the Numemon back underneath, gain 2 memory, then go back into Monze X. This is one thing that I really like, is the cycling of this card. It can hurt. But, so this is where I start to try stray a little bit. I do know that some people run this card a little bit. It's Azulong Ace. It's really good for the deck because if your opponent tries to swing into you, then you just say no. You just bounce that back to their hand, and if this thing gets deleted, you delete one of their things. Like, yeah, it's an overflow of 4, but you're deleting one of their highest level Digimon, so it's really beneficial for you. So I know people run Venusmon a lot, but I actually don't run Venusmon. The reason why is because, granted, yes, it can prevent your opponent from doing their effects or and give you another turn. But I don't know. I just don't like running it in there because once you get into it, then it's just a big beefy lady. Like, that's about it. It's just a level 6 at that point. But still, it's an option that you can run. This is my list, so this is how I like to run it. But I do run one Omnimon Merciful mode because purple decks hurt. I know the reason why I run it is mainly because of Levy, because you don't want them to have all their pieces in trash. That's pretty much it. So when Digivolving, for each card with Mega and their traits in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, then place 10 cards from the opponent's trash at the bottom of their deck in any order. And then start of your turn, trash the top card of this Digimon. If you do, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So, like, this is a way to go back into Platinum Numemon. That's the reason why I like running this one, because you just trash this, trash the security, go back to Platinum Numemon, do 2 checks. Bam. Really good. Because I don't like to run Venus, I do like to run a 1-of this card. It is a very powerful card for this deck, pretty much for any deck that runs it, but I do run a 1-of Shine Greymon Ruin mode. I mean, it's pretty much just there to prevent your opponent from doing stuff. When Digivolving, they're on deletion until the end of your opponent's next turn. All their Digimon get minus 5k DP. End of attack, delete this Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon and recover +1. Then if you have a Tamer in play, hatch one Digi-Egg card to an empty space in your breeding area. It's a very staple light purple, yellow card for high ends. It's just a way to DP minus your stuff, so if you didn't get in enough with Monzemon or anything like that, or even Chimeramon, it's just another way to prevent them from doing stuff. But yeah, on to the Tamers. So this is another reason why I don't like running too many Numemons of this one, because I need more options for Tamers. So I only run 1 of Satsuke. That's the reason why, or another reason why I don't run that much, because I do have more cards of this, don't get me wrong, but since I don't have them maxed out, having more of these would not benefit me at all, except for it just being the name. That's about it. Anyway, and blocker, but still, I only run 1 of these. I used to run more, but I found that I would either have way too many of these in hand or way too many of these in hand, and sometimes they wouldn't be together. Even with all the drawing I did, they wouldn't be together. So, but this is the reason why I made room, because I do run 2 Cool Boys. I run 2 Cool Boys because you are running an X antibody deck. You need your options. You need your Digimon with X antibody and its traits. So Cool Boy is there. On play, you search the top 3 or reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon with X antibody and its traits, and one option card with X antibody and its traits. Sorry, and 1 option with X antibody and its traits. And then when your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a same level Digimon with X antibody and its traits, you may suspend this Tamer to gain a memory and draw 1. So more draw potential, more memory gain. Numemon goes hard and fast, man. It really hurts. Alright, but then on to the last of our Tamers. We run 2 of Louis. Honestly, we do run Ukomon, and we run some things that we need to get our stuff out of the raising to swing for game. This is another way to pretty much swing for game. But on play, you may move one of your level 3 Digimon or higher from the breeding area to the battle area. And then, when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, you can suspend the Tamer to gain a memory. So, more memory gain, more advantage for you. Now, on to the 2 option cards that are absolutely necessary, I think, in the way that I play this style of game, or this style of deck. It is X Antibody Protoform. Yes, from EX5. So, this insecurity, you add it to your hand. Yes, one of your Digimon without X Antibody, you place this card under your Digimon that you want to Digivolve into an X Antibody card. So say I have Monzemon. I place X Antibody Protoform underneath it. Now Digivolve into Monzemon, and it reduces the cost by 1. But most of the time, the X Antibodies are for free. But having Protoform underneath your cards in this deck is essential. Because as I said, the combo that I like to do is I like to have, let's say I have this combo. I have Numemon under here, X Antibody up here, and then I go into Monzemon, or I have Monzemon like this. So I have this stack, right? So then I say I have Cool Boy out on the field. Place X Antibody Protoform underneath. Go into Monzemon X Antibody for free. Suspend Cool Boy, draw a card, gain a memory, play a Digimon for free, all that stuff. Then go into Platinum Numemon, and now I have 2 checks with a guaranteed way to get Monzemon X Antibody back in hand, a way to play a Monzemon or Numemon, being able to play a Numemon from trash, and placing this atop of security. Pretty much, essentially, Platinum Numemon would swing. Oh, it gets deleted. Okay. Well, it gets deleted. Proto goes to the top. Let's just play it right here. I'll return Monzemon X Antibody back to hand. These will go to trash. Numemon X Antibody, I can either play itself or the Numemon here. Let's just say I'll play itself. So these will be in trash. Then if I have a Monzemon in hand, use Platinum to play the Monzemon back. Use the Monzemon on play, get the Numemon back, gain 2 more memory, and then go back into the X Antibody Monzemon that I added to hand from Proto. That's the reason why I like to play this deck, because the combo for it is actually quite strong, and it doesn't take that much to set up or get to actually work. It's quite an oppressive deck. Oppressive and impressive. I'll just say that. But anyway, that is my deck profile for Numemon. It's about time that I've actually made a Numemon deck. Like I said, my profile picture on YouTube has Numemon. I've had a Numemon deck for quite a while, or a Numemon mat for a while now. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you would like to say. Like I said, I would suggest giving out Chimeramon a try, because I feel like it actually isn't that bad for the deck. At least a one of. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you later.
Baby!